So my friend, the wait is over. Today's video is so special. That's why I request you to grab your coffee, take your juice, and then take some popcorn because we're gonna have an amazing episode today. You're gonna know a lot of information today. So it's been very long. I got a question from different people ask me what's the cost of building houses here in Rwanda. Guess what? We've got a developer, and he's from the diaspora. He's just building really nice houses as you see behind me, so he's going to tell us more about that thing about building houses here in Rwanda, especially for you diaspora from everywhere in the world. So guys, please stay in touch, sit and then listen to this man because he's an amazing guy. He's going to tell us more about building houses here in Rwanda, the cost. That's what you want to know. So please stay in touch, like this video, share the video to your friends, and then comment. Tell me how you get the information, how it is, Okay, what's up, man?
I'm alright. Yourself? How are you?
I'm good.
It's good to have you around in Delman Terrace.
Wow, thank you so much for inviting me here.
We've actually had a lot of conversations on WhatsApp, a lot of conversations on YouTube, and finally we've got everything done and sorted now, and I think you probably appreciate the beauty of the place.
Yes, very nice, man.
It looks good. Yeah.
Real nice. Okay, so we have a lot of things to talk here, so we're gonna talk about building houses here in Rwanda.
Yeah,
that's the question. Like everyone who is interested about Rwanda wants to know. So and then we got a chance to meet with you. So that's why today we're gonna have a special time with you.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So can you start telling us who you are?
Yeah.
Your name, and then tell us about you and your company.
Yeah. My name is Abraham Makinde, and I'm actually from England, and I came into Rwanda in 2020, and it was more of a situation whereby I was thinking of actually investing in Africa, and Rwanda was one of the very first places that came into mind. And I thought, I need to come down, see what it is like, see the beauty of the place, appreciate what's actually happening, because I've seen a lot of videos, a lot of pictures, and being an Arsenal fan as well. You can see I'm wearing an Arsenal t-shirt right now. So the Visit Rwanda thing is actually everywhere in England, and I thought it was a good time for me to come around in 2020, just before COVID actually. I started doing my business feasibility study, came down to Rwanda, and the idea of Delman & Co. Limited Rwanda started from there. So basically what my company does is we are into real estate development, as well as brick and other clay building materials manufacturing. So we've got a brick factory that actually manufactures the brick we use to build our houses.
Wow.
And also we've got this development, which is our very first development in Rwanda. And for this particular development, let me just give you a brief intro into this development. So it's basically a 6-bedroom, 6 terraces of 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. As you can see, it's more of something very different to what people have in Rwanda.
Of course.
And the concept behind this is we wanted to do something of what we see in England in Rwanda.
Wow.
The Rwandan government have always been preaching about maximizing of spaces. The country is quite small, very hilly country. You would struggle to find very flat land in Rwanda. So when I came into the country, the guys at RDB they were very keen on us having like a development that would actually cater for a family of 5, 6, 7, 10, 20 if possible, living in the same space, just like we have back home in England, like we have in Kenya and a lot of other developed countries. So that's the concept behind this space. So as you can see, we've got 6 terraces in just one compound, and it's 610 square meter actually.
Wow.
Which is it's quite hard to find something like this in Kigali, because
of course,
in Rwanda you have families building On a 600 square meter, a small house and every other space is wasted. So that's something that happens in Rwanda a lot. So I guess the development is something new. Not like it's not the only one that's done this. We are not the only one that's done this. We've got a couple of other development that have done this. But the difference between what we've done and what they've done is the fact that theirs is actually a bit crowded. We've got 50 or 70 houses in the same spaces. But in this particular space, we've only got 6 houses in the same space, which makes it a bit more not really crowded like what you would see in some other development. So you still have that feel of you're still living in a very quiet environment compared to other places. And in regards to one question a lot of people would probably ask, what's the cost of building in Rwanda? How much does it cost you to buy land? How much does it cost you to do this and that? I guess I'll probably be able to chip in. So one of the things about Rwanda is this: depending on where you want to build your houses, depending on where you want to buy your land, that's going to determine how much you pay for whatever you want. So for example, if you are saying you want to build in Yarutarama, for example, you know you're actually building for the big boys. If you want to build in, let's say, in Dera or maybe outside of Kigali, you can afford to actually get land for like $5,000. In Yarutarama, you probably the same land you bought for $5,000 in outside of Kigali, you're probably paying $80,000 for it in Yarutarama. So this particular development now, we are selling each unit for 65,000 US dollars. And I think, to be honest, it's quite affordable compared to the cost of other houses, similar houses in Kigali, and the land as well. Land is quite expensive in Kigali. And we think with what we've done in this space, you have everything you need, which you would be able to show them afterwards.
Of course,
You have your 3 bedrooms, you have 2 bathrooms, you have your storage and everything. So if we are going to be very specific about how much it costs you by square meter, I wouldn't want to be specific because I wouldn't want anybody to judge me based on what I say. So what I would just say is it all depends on the location of where your plot is. And also the cost of building materials in Rwanda. So I think that's going to be an honest opinion about what the cost of land is. And one other question which a lot of people also ask is, if I want to do something similar to what you do, how do I go about it? I guess in Rwanda is a very free place to come to. I've never been to Rwanda before. I have no connection to Rwanda. The only thing I know about Rwanda was the genocide of the Tutsis. And also being an Arsenal fan, seeing Rwanda, reading about Rwanda. I came down in 2020, and less than 2 years later, I've got a lot of investment in Rwanda, actually. Basically, my life is basically in Rwanda now. So you can make that move. It's a very lovely country, quiet. The hustle and bustle of Rwanda is not complete. It's not like the one we have in Manchester, we have in London, we have in New York or Lagos or Kenya or Nairobi. It's quite easy to live in Kigali, and I think it's a lovely country. I've actually had amazing time in this lovely country. So if anybody is willing to come down to Kigali to invest, they can always reach out to me. I don't mind. They can reach out to yourself as well. We are available to actually help them out.
So what is your experience about building here in Rwanda?
I think the very first thing that was a shocker for me when I moved to Rwanda was the fact that 2 months before I actually started building, even after I bought the plot, something happened whereby the government changed the policy for foreigners. Me being a British citizen, I was not able to register the land in my personal name.
Of course.
I had to register the land in my business name. That was the first shocker for me. The other thing for me was the fact that in Rwanda, you need to work with the right set of people. The masons need to know their stuff. If they don't know their stuff, you would mess about with your building. Believe me. What we see in this building right now, it might look really glossy, it might look really nice. Believe me, it took me a lot of stress and sleepless night. I had to be on their neck. I had to get the right people to get involved in the project for them to actually develop this. If you're just trying to cut corners, you probably want to reduce your costs, you don't want to actually invest in the property itself. I think you make a lot of mistake and your property will probably look not really what you want to actually have it to look like. So I think those two things are really the major factors, and also the fact that cost of building materials in Rwanda can skyrocket overnight. You buy a bag of cement today for 10,000 Rwandan francs, it could be 15,000 Rwandan francs tomorrow morning.
So
that's another thing you need to be prepared for. So I think generally, if you are able to actually do your feasibility study, you cover all your tracks, I think you should have a good time building your house in Rwanda.
Wow.
The only thing you just need to be aware of is if you're a foreigner, there's absolutely no way you can register the plot in your name. You need to register the plot in a business name. If you're unable to do that now, you don't want to register a business, you can reach out to someone like myself. We have a package where we can actually do something for you, build a house for you, and also the documentation and everything will be transferred to you after the development is finished.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
It's very nice. So tell us about the foundation,
Okay.
construction foundation of like these houses, for example, the cost,
Right. I would always want to actually run away from answering questions about cost because you can't really compare the cost of this house to whatever you probably want to have in another development. Rwanda is a very hilly country. Most of the land are like this. You don't have flat land, it's always slopey. And the cost of you building a foundation in a slopey land is going to be different from you building in a flat surface.
Okay.
Because you need to do the German floor, you need to do a lot of digging, the retaining wall, all of those things are actually quite expensive.
Of course.
In this particular location, I can remember when we started this whole thing, I think the foundation alone for this house alone took us, they're about 40 to 50,000 US dollars, if I can remember. Because we wanted something strong that can actually protect and actually, how would I put it now, support the property building.
True.
We are building on it. So you would want to actually have very good foundation in a kind of slopey land.
Yeah.
You don't want to take that risk. Else, the flood water coming from higher ground is just going to sweep everything away. That's it.
Wow. Yeah. So why do they need like an architect?
That's a very important question actually. One of the challenges I've actually seen in Rwanda is this. Most of the houses you see in Rwanda are actually not designed by architects. They are designed by engineers.
True.
Architects and engineers are two different people. An engineer is just a guy that went to school, civil engineer, he knows how to build houses. He doesn't know how to design houses.
Design the house. True.
An engineer will give you a house, functional house. Or you can live in the house, 3 bedroom, you can sleep, you can wake up, you can go out to work, and that's it. An architect would actually make that house a home for you.
True.
The ambience of the house,
The design.
the look. See, you can see a couple of things in this house is quite different.
True.
If it was just an engineer that designed this place, you probably see it's probably going to look really funny. That's the truth.
Yeah.
But based on the fact that you engage an engineer and an architect, both of them working together, they can both share knowledge and work to give you a very good product.
Of course.
So you can see, if you walk around this property, you'll see like the work of the architect is actually visible.
True.
And also the work of the engineer is visible. So if you just want to use the engineer alone, believe me, you'd have to. I've seen houses in Kigali with purple interior, yellow walls, green. The colors are just ridiculous. So you want to actually live in a house that's actually really appealing to people when they're coming into your house.
Yeah.
And not just look really shabby. So I guess architects are very important. The design, the look and feel of your house, and also there's a different feeling when an architect actually design your house compared to when an engineer is just going to pull like meters and just draw something up for you and you just build it and that's it really. Yeah.
So do you offer that kind of service?
Yeah, so we've got an architect we actually work with, very good guy actually.
Wow.
So if someone is actually in the process of building their house, they can reach out to me. I've got a couple of guys I can work with that can actually do that service for them. And not just the architectural part of things. It also include the design of the interior, the furnishing of the house.
Wow.
All of those things actually come in the whole package. And all what you just need to do is tell us what you want, and we would be able to actually meet up with your demand. And I think that works well for us.
Okay. Can you tell us about building in Rwanda from diaspora?
Right, so a lot of guys in diaspora actually want to build houses, and one mistake we would not want to make with the guys from diaspora is this. Let's forget about the fact that we are coming back home to Africa and we expect everything to be cheap. Rwanda housing is not cheap. That's the honest truth. If you are thinking, oh, you probably have $30,000 and you want to get a mansion in Rwanda, that's not going to happen. You need decent money to have a decent property in Rwanda.
True.
So if you want to build in Rwanda and you live in the diaspora, you've seen it all in the world you live in. France, Belgium, America, England, wherever you live in, you've seen very beautiful properties. You probably want to live in something similar to that back home in Africa, most especially in Kigali. you wouldn't want to compromise on what you actually want to actually build. So I guess you need to spend the extra money to make you have the look and feel of what you want.
True.
So if, for example, we have a client who wants to actually build from the diaspora, there's a process we actually go through with them.
Yeah.
We do like a first session where we actually try to get the requirements of what you need. Do you have your land already? Do you want us to actually buy the land for you? Do you want us to do the location set for you? Do you want us to actually give you like an idea of what you want to build, or you already have your own idea? That initial conversation is very important. We have that conversation first for us to be able to understand what you want.
True.
After that, based on whatever the outcome of that conversation is, then we can proceed. And I think we just work based on the service charge. You can be in control of your project if you want to.
Wow.
You can be in control of your engineers, your architect if you want to. But the initial conversations of us doing all of those search for you and everything, we would charge you for it. And even if you want us to actually be in charge of all of the project for you from start to finish, then we actually have like a consulting agreement together where we actually work things out. And I think we've had situations whereby a couple of guys started initially with the plan of, oh, I want to be in charge of the project. But after a couple of months, they realized, no, we can't do this. We live abroad, we can't actually manage this thing. At the end of the day, they sign another agreement with us and they want us to actually finish it. And that works really well because we are on ground to actually make sure what you are building is according to your taste. No gotcha kind of feeling where you see things you're not expecting to see in the house.
True.
And that works well for everybody.
Yeah. Wow. So why they should consider building with a professional and how to save the cost?
Right. Building with a professional actually saves you cost in the first place. If you are building with someone like a layman from the street, he's going to charge you more and he's going to give you rubbish. A professional would actually do you a bill of quantity even before you start. At least you have an idea of how much it's going to cost you to build, even if it's just a 2-bedroom house. You have an idea of what your plan is and what your budget is. And there's no surprise.
True.
At least he's already giving you all of the project plan. What needs to be done in the first 2 weeks, what needs to be done in the first 3 months, when he thinks the project should be able to finish based on how you finance the project. So all of those things are actually quite important if you want to build with a professional. And I think another advantage of building with a professional is the fact that you are more confident of the fact that, you know, someone who is actually educated, he knows just who knows what they are doing. He or she is probably a professional in that field.
True.
Is handling the project. You wouldn't want to actually have a house whereby the ratio of cement to sand is actually not proportional. That's going to affect your building. You wouldn't want to have tiles that are actually not really looking good. I've been to houses in Kigali whereby the spaces between the tiles are like this, and you'll be like, who actually did this? Those are the kind of things that actually happens when you see laymen. But when you see professional do it, if you're checking the floors in this apartment we are in right now, you can see the professionals actually took their time out to do everything. Everything is measured. The space between the tiles, the space where the TV is actually in between, everything is actually measured up. Just for us to actually create that space and also make sure you have what exactly you want.
True. So how they can work with a Delman company?
In regards to working with us, I guess we can actually have our contact details in the video. And currently, I'm basically based in Rwanda, and you can reach out to me through my website, through my personal email, my WhatsApp number, and I'm always available to actually, even if you want to speak to me in the middle of the night, I'm good.
We're gonna put your contact down here in the description.
That would be great, actually.
Wow. Man, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
I wish you to get a lot of customer from
diaspora. That would be absolutely amazing. To be honest with you, I'm hoping very soon most of the houses in Kigali would actually be built either by me or the bricks you're actually using to build your house is sold by me.
Wow.
Because I'm more of trying to do something like end-to-end process in the value chain. I've got a brick factory that actually does the bricks, and I've got the houses. So if you probably don't build houses with me, you can actually buy my bricks. That's it.
Wow, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.